But let's answer some of the queries sent to us, because naturally there would be quite a few worried investors out there. So we have Gaurav, who's called in from Jaipur. Hi, Gaurav. Okay. I don't have his details actually with me, so let's see. I think he's going to talk about Sun Pharma, is it? He has 25 shares at the rate of 936 and now wants to know whether to hold or sell. Sharmila, at a time like this, would Pharma be the place to stick out? And if he's got Sun Pharma, should he remain invested?
I think the problem with Sun Pharma was the kind of quarterly results that we got, because obviously I think, somewhere analysts had not factored in that, nobody really got that right, that what kind of an impact Ranbaxy is going to have on their numbers. And we could see that as compared to the fact that Sun Pharma so always beat analysts' expectations, this was one quarter when they did. That said, I think going ahead, there are a lot of positives playing from Sun Pharma. So I think it entirely depends on what your holding period is. I think if you want to be invested in Sun Pharma as a stock for anything, with an 18 to 24 month kind of a time horizon, then I think it's a perfect stock to be invested in, because this has always been their strategy, where they've had acquisitions and then they've been able to absorb whatever is and carry their business forward from there. So I am not really particularly perturbed at this point in time. Yes, we do need to watch Sun Pharma quarterly numbers more closely over the next couple of quarters, but I would stay invested at these levels.
Okay. All right, that's the call coming in on Sun Pharma, but let's get to our personal finance query of the day. Rahul has written to us from Mumbai, and he says he can invest 10 to 15,000 rupees per month, and he wants to know where he can invest his money. He is 26 years old and is a first-time investor. Feroze, starting young.
Yeah, 26 is a very, very good age to actually start, Rahul. I think if you have about 10 to 15,000 rupees to invest, I think you should spread it between debt and equity, which are the two financial instruments, which is the capital market investments. I think on the equity side, you should look at 70% at least and not any lesser because of your age. And about 30% in debt should do a very good to your portfolio, and stability will also be accomplished by this composition. So on the equity side, let me recommend to you a couple of funds which are very good on the large cap category. One would be the Mirai India Opportunities Fund, which is a smaller fund but a very unconventionally managed. Significant alphas can be generated. So that's one fund. You can also look at a JP Morgan India Opportunities Fund. So these are the two equity funds on the large cap side. On the mid cap side, you can definitely look at an SBI Magnum Mid Cap, and on the debt side, you can look at Reliance Corporate Bond Fund. I think these four funds, all of them taking equal share of your money, I think that will be good, Rahul.
All right, Rahul, I hope that advice works for you and you were listening to it. Up next, we have Sumit, who is called in from Delhi. Hi, Sumit. Sumit, can you hear me? Okay, we are unable to connect with Sumit as well. He says he's looking to invest about 15 to 20,000 rupees in the equity market in direct shares. So he needs advice on what shares he could be looking at. So Sharmila, this is heartening that for a change, a retail investor is actually looking to invest at a time when he sees a big dip in the market. So what would the advice be for someone like him? I assume he's a new investor because he's only 24.
Yeah, so assuming he's a new investor and this is the first time he's making an investment, I think it might be a good idea to really buy frontline stocks. But I think if he has some frontline exposure, then within the mid cap, I would ideally suggest if he has 15,000, buy 3 stocks, each of 5,000 each, and invest it equally, say between a Biocon, a strong mid cap like a Motherson Sumi, and then again, I'm one of in the banking sector, one of the private banks. I will not really suggest a name, but I think maybe a bank like an ICICI Bank or a Kotak, any of the premier private banks which have now seen quite a bit of correction would look good to me. Again, I think the caveat here would be that your investment horizon should be at least 12 to 18 months.
Okay, well, it's a fresh wave of selling pressure that we're seeing, so it just seems as though 8,000 is not going to hold in the next couple of minutes for the Nifty, just about 3 points away. The last previous low for today, which we just hit a couple of minutes back or 30 minutes ago, was 7,999. So let's see whether we sustainably slip below 8,000 and manage to trade below that level for a long period of time, or maybe for the remaining part of the session. But Sharmila, what is your sense in terms of us slipping below the Nifty? Though it's just a level and eventually, long-term investors shouldn't care about levels, the fact is that we have corrected significantly.
Yeah, so I think it's a good opportunity to buy. I think you just need to have your stock list ready and start actively looking at, maybe start buying and start buying slowly as the market comes off. I think there seems to be almost a consensus on the street that the Nifty is going to 7,800. My fear, of course, is that if it goes to 7,800, then it should actually ideally go lower, because the consensus is now built around that number. So I would just really wait for those levels and look to buy stocks that I like.
All right, Sharmila, any disclosure on the stocks you spoke about?
Out of the stocks that we've discussed, I hold Sun Pharma.
All right, Sharmila, Feroze, thanks very much for joining in to advise our viewers. Unfortunately, we couldn't spend very much time with you. Needed to address the markets a little bit more, but thanks nevertheless.